Good morning. Peace and blessings. Happy Wednesday. Today is the day that Mercury rules. Mercury is currently at the 17th degree of Taurus, and the sun just moved in Taurus yesterday. So we are in a new season, which I'm very grateful for. Taurus is a very different energy than Aries, as you can imagine. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Um, Now, first of all, I have to say, not Taurus energy, Aries energy kicked my ass. Like literally, there was so much that happened in the Aries season. And Aries is all about courage. So it would make sense. Good morning, Anais. It would make sense um, that we would that there was rigor, right? So because Aries is about facing your fears. Aries is about it's a profound energetic shift because it's cardinal energy. So the seasons change in Aries. So it means that we have to kind of do a mighty lift. Like we have to bring a lot of energy to it. So like this Aries season, I started taking a boxing class and um to energize me in a new direction. I started taking a boxing class so that I could be in this sort of energy of combat. And what we are combating is our old way of being. That's it. We're combating old way of being. And um, so I hope that you guys really benefited from the Aries energy and that you were able to make some new connections, to draw some new power, to move in some new directions that maybe weren't available to you prior to this Aries season. So now we are in Taurus season, and the moon today, Mercury is the planet that rules. And Mercury is our thinking, our mind, how we perceive reality, how what our perception is. And Taurus being an earth sign, it's literally like slow. There's a lot of opportunity for silence and slowing down and being present to our senses because that's what Taurus rules. Taurus rules our sensory body, taste, touch, feel, hearing, sight, all of that, all of our skin, literally. And if you want to think of Taurus in a way that really is significant, just think of a baby and babies before they have language, like so maybe when they're like 0 to 2 or 3 years old, that's Taurus. And how they are very sensitive. They can feel everything, they can taste everything. For those of you who have been mothers or take care of children, you understand the level of sensitivity that children have. The challenge is that they don't have language, though, right? So they can't tell you in words how or what it is they're feeling, but they are feeling everything. And that is the very fascinating thing because um Taurus, like I said, is this energy of the senses, but how you feel creates your value. That's the thing that's very significant about Taurus. Based upon your feelings, we then give ourselves a story about our value. So think about how you felt growing up in your childhood home. Like I know I've shared with you guys before that I grew up in an environment that was violent and had a lot of poverty. And so, based upon my environment, it created in me this experience of having low self esteem or not believing in myself or not feeling safe and secure because of the environment I was in. And so, what we want to do during this Taurus season is begin to restore ourselves into our through our divine gifts and potential and powers, but really through our transforming our old stories. So, Mercury at the 17th degree of Taurus, like I said, the 17th degree is about attraction. It really is what you're focusing on grows. We hear all this stuff because we live in the world right now that's very, um, there's a lot of spiritual self help stuff, but these laws are real, right? So what we focus on will grow. And with Mercury and Taurus, it's all about your feeling. How do you feel in your body? How do you feel in your home? How do you feel with another? How do you feel? Does it feel aligned? Does it feel good? Literally, because Mercury rules the nervous system and Taurus is our sensory body, and the two are very, very connected. So we really just want to be very mindful of how we feel. We don't have to put a lot of language to it because it's Taurus. Like I said, if you could think of a baby between the ages of, 1 month all the way up to 3 years old before language really becomes, a thing that the child is using. And what they have more access to is their senses. And so you want to spend this season really giving energy to your senses. Um, to how you are feeling in your body, how you're feeling about yourself, your self esteem, your value. Do you trust yourself? Do you love yourself? What are the best ways that you can experience trusting yourself and loving yourself? Um, for those of you who are interested, I'll be having a Pluto retrograde class that starts on the 29th of April. And it is going to be geared towards recovering because Pluto is about our power and our authority. It's going to be about recovering the places where we've given our power away, where we've not trusted ourselves, where we've doubted ourselves, where we've been too fascinated by the external reality and denied our internal self. So this is what the Pluto retrograde class will be about, and that can really support this process. Also, the next moon cycle class starts 13 moons, harnessing everyday practical magic begins on the 23rd, which is the Saturday coming. And so I would love to have you in either of these classes or both of them because they're both going to be really supportive for us harnessing our power and our magic and coming back home to ourselves. The moon today is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the energy of faith. It's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is currently in Pisces, as Venus is also in Pisces. Venus rules the sun sign. Um, Venus rules Taurus, Mercury's in Taurus, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and the moon is in the the waning gibbous phase. So that means it's giving off energy. It's giving back the light. And so what this energy is about, it's about faith in ourselves, and it's an incredible, subtle, internal, intimate energy that is about you trusting yourself. That's it. It's really as simple as that. Do you trust what you feel? Do you trust your inner guidance? Do you have high self esteem? Do you feel connected? Are you anchored in something that is greater than you? We're living at a time when we can't really trust much of anything that the media says. And, there's so much information out there. And so the work is to become very reliant and aligned internally so that you can know that the directions that you are being given or the trust that you have for yourself is working, right? Like really, what do I want to say? Really fortifying your ability to trust yourself, to trust your inner guidance, to trust that the information that you're being given, the direction, the choices that you're making are aligned with something that is ultimately highly beneficial for you and those who you are in relationship with. There's so much happening in the world right now, um and it can be scary, but it's also very beautiful for those of us who have been waiting for this time to come. And what we're witnessing is the polarity shifting. What we're witnessing in the world is not unusual. It's just unusual to be alive at this time. Um, one of the things that we never hear about is that everything has this, the earth is also alive and going through its own evolutionary changes. I remember when I first started studying cosmology and realizing that many of the places in the world right now that are deserts were one time oceans because the earth has been at this for billions of years. And so, what often is called global warming and the harm and the things that humans are doing, maybe those are things that are the humans are doing, but really what's happening is that we're in an evolutionary window. We're literally having and experiencing growing pains that the earth is having, and we are a part of it. Grand Rising, Renika, we are a part of the earth's shift because we are the cells of the earth. Like we really do impact. And so, one of the things that's very important is for us to understand that this is happening and to be more present to the earth's evolution that is occurring through us than we are to the patriarchal mindset, the Western white way of looking at the world as something that we have to conquer more than rather as something that we need to realize that we're connected to, that we are a part of. We are a part of this nature experience. This energy is not happening against us. And so there's so many things that need to be reorganized inside of our own consciousness. Taurus, where the sun is in right now, Taurus rules money. And so, one of the things that's happened in the world is that we have made money this thing that is first of all, we've sort of given it more power than our spiritual connections, um, because it grants us access in the earth realm. So I understand why we would give it, why we would hold it at such a high esteem. But the reality is that money is just energy, like everything is. And so the more we honor the energy, the more we experience abundance. The more we honor the natural cycles of life and death and rebirth and light and darkness and all that is in between, the more we can tap into abundance when the season of abundance is here and trust the season of death when the season of death is here, because that is a natural part of this experience. You know, we watch we watch the day before die and the new day be born. It's always happening. So the more that we can surrender into the natural cycles, the more we can experience the natural rhythms of abundance and prosperity and life and death and love and joy. And with the sun and Taurus, if we can begin to trust our own inner guidance, our own feelings, our senses, the way that animals are able to detect when a storm is coming and go to higher ground, or understand that food cycles, like if they're feeding and they're living in one tree and they devour the fruit of that tree, that it just means that it's time to move on to the next thing, right? Like the more we can begin to generate our connection to the unseen world as a real and valuable experience, more valuable than what we see, the more that we can trust our senses more than we focus on what we actually see with our eyes, the more that we will be connected to divinity within us and the divinity that's everywhere. So, with that, I just want to say thank you all for allowing me to support you. You can sign up for new moon, full moon readings. I'll be offering those. You can check out my website, moniqueruffin.com. For that, you can also sign up for natal chart readings. And I would love, like I said, for you to join the new classes that I have starting. The next moon cycle begins on the 23rd of April, and then Pluto retrograde. I'm calling my power home to me, which is so profound because we're going to be working on healing old love patterns, shadow patterns that have kept us stuck in ways that we desire to be free. And we're going to be working on those and healing through the rituals and the internal the internal prompts that I'm able to offer you to shift these energies and get your power back. Last year, I did all of these classes myself because I teach them and so I do them. And all I can say is that from the work that I do in these classes, we're able to go back into other timelines where we have, maybe you had a a love relationship that was really devastating, or your mother had a love relationship that was devastating. Like, we don't understand that we have karma that we carry from one lifetime to the next, and that we're carrying our mother's karma and our father's karma. So if there are things in your life, patterns that have you stuck in ways of being that you want free from, this Pluto retrograde class is very powerful. It has helped me get free. Like last year when the Pluto retrograde was going on, I was in a pattern um of wanting people who didn't want me. I had been in that pattern all my life. It's a pattern of abandonment. It's something that is just was a part of my way of being. And when I was able to really look at this pattern closely, the universe is so generous, sent me somebody to help me dig it up, sent me somebody to show it to me where I could see what I do, how I project onto the masculine, like a kind of a need for a savior. And I saw it. I saw myself in the act of that pattern. And it was painful and it was undesirable. But as I walked myself through it, I freed myself from it through doing the rituals, through being able to be really honest, taking responsibility for my own behavior. I had some very profound conversations with this person, being able to be truthful and unlocked it. And I am no longer in that pattern anymore. And I have been in that pattern since I was 14 years old, since puberty started, and I'm free from it. And so then we free up power for us to do what the things that we really want to do. And now I am doing new things with that energy that actually serve me into my becoming and into the greatness that I know is within me. So if you're really wanting to change your life, this is a great time to do it with this Pluto retrograde. All right, you all. Peace and blessings. Have a really beautiful day. I love you. Bye-bye.